Hey everyone, I hope you're great. So in this video, we're going to talk about corners and bookings and what things you need to look for and just a few notes around this. And I think I might spend a little bit more time on the bookings just because there's a little bit more that comes into play there versus with corners. And then, I'll try and cover the corners. I may break this up into two different videos and then just, in case it goes over 7 minutes. So anyway, with bookings, one of the things that you always want to look at, and this is just a basic at the most basic level, you've got to look at leagues that have a lot of cards, a lot of bookings. You also have to look at teams, and you also have to look at the nature of the game that you're trying to bet on. And the last and probably the secret sauce is the referee, because if the referee is not willing to comply with giving cards, then even if you estimate that this game is going to have 4 cards, then it might not happen. I've kind of highlighted Serie A, League One, and La Liga. These 3 generally have a lot of cards. And not that you won't get them in the Premier League. There are teams and games that do get cards, but you have to play into the dynamic. So these 4 things really do play an important role, and I really want to emphasize that it's not one alone, but all 4 of them combined together. Not just looking at specific leagues, but looking at the teams that are playing, looking at their discipline record. All right, so when we're looking at bookings, one of the key things you need to consider is, the team dynamic. For example, I put an example here, Getafe versus Atletico Madrid. Getafe is a team that, for their record, they have a huge indiscipline problems, and, they commit a lot of tackles and things like this. Atletico Madrid 2 or 3 seasons ago, you would have found that they would get red cards, they would get a lot of yellow cards, but now what's happened is a lot of the team, especially the older players who are more high-tempered, the people who've already won what they need to win, they've now left the squad, and you've got younger players coming up who are a little bit more disciplined. So you'll find that, game might have 4 cards. It may not be the case. I always say that when it comes to betting, you want to do as much research as possible, and then also look at the nature of the game. If it's a derby, if it's a local game like Manchester United versus Liverpool, there will be cards. And last but not least, the secret sauce, the referee. For example, in the Premier League, Mike Dean is one of the refs who's known to give out quite a lot of cards. He's a card-happy chappy. He's one of them that you would want to look at. With corners, you want to look specifically for teams that attack. So teams that play along the wings, the right and the left. And again, it goes down to leagues. You may not find in La Liga, for example, that they do get a lot of corners unless it's a local derby. So you just need to be able to look at team corners. How many corners does a team take and how many do they concede? A lot of this will make more sense once you just get information and the sites that I'm going to give you. So with corners, teams that attack more, especially along the wings, will have more corners than a team that wouldn't attack. And teams that play generally ball possession style, where they just knock the ball to each other left and right until they get a chance, may not have as many corners. Let's go to some sites and I'll show you the lazy man, totally the lazy way to get this done. So this is a site, AdamChoi. What I like about it is they keep up with streaks. So this is purely the lazy man's way of finding games to bet on. So under here, you see there's booking points. And maybe while this is loading, it might be helpful to just explain what booking points are. So a booking point, 1 yellow card is the equivalent of 10 booking points. A red card is the equivalent of 25 booking points. So 1 yellow card, 10 points. A red card, 25. The cards given are given to players or, players that are on the pitch. If they give a card to a coach, they give a card to a player who's on the bench, those cards don't count. The cards that count are the cards that are given to players on the pitch. AdamChoi. So you can see here, they kind of give you details, on streaks that have been going on. Getafe has had over 20 booking points, so that means they've received more than 2 yellow cards in the last 19 league games. Lazio as well have had over 40 total booking points in their last 18 league games. So the lazy man way, and honestly, if you just watched up to here and you just go on the site, you're good. So you just pick a few games here and you go, you just do your research, check in SofaScore, check the last 3 games. This is where you can just look at your booking points and you should be golden. Honestly, I don't need to say more than that. With corners as well, here they give you, on their streaks. This is on their homepage, by the way. Sao Paulo has had the most corners in their last 12 league games. Salzburg has won over 4.5 corners. It kind of gives you a record. Dundee United has conceded over 4.5 corners. This is the absolute lazy way to get stats. Come to AdamChoi.co.uk and you can get your stats there, and you can pick and just verify in SofaScore or in FlashScore, whichever one you use. Now I just want to show you the other way, and then I'll come back to AdamChoi. All right, so here we are in Telegram, and I'll put a link to this as well. So this is Stats Galore. They post stats for all the different leagues, as you can see here. They have stats for goals, stats for corners, stats for cards, and in some cases they even show you the referees. I'm going to just open one up here, and then I'm just going to zoom in so you guys can see. As you can see here, they have for Bundesliga, and they're showing you how many cards each team has averaged in the last 5 games. Okay, first half. So you have to zoom in a little bit, and it might be annoying, but this is another way you can some stats. Yeah, you can even see the most recent games on average, home and away, how many cards total, and then you can work out your averages, and this is based on the last 5. In Bundesliga, they don't announce the referee until the day of, so you won't find the stats for the referees. But if you go here and you look at, say, for example, League 1, it shows you the referee, and the beauty of this is they've highlighted for you in yellow a referee that gives out quite a lot of cards. So at the end here, if you can kind of see where it says 90 minutes, it says Jeremy Pigniad, I think, if I'm saying that right. It gives out 5.2 cards, okay? And the game is Leo versus Dijon, I think that's how you say it. On average, both teams have had 4.8 cards, and both teams have had more than 2 cards in a game. So if you're playing that one, it might be a good over 3.5 cards a game to play. So this is another way that you can get stats, and these stats are free. So all you have to look for is Stats Galore. I'll drop a link to this channel. So they give you stats on cards, goals, and corners. So let me just quickly scroll. So with corners, again here, they give you a number of corners. So this is in England, give you the average home and away in the recent 5-game average. Sunderland and Gillingham, on average, both of them have had 9.9 for Sunderland, and Gillingham, I don't know if I'm saying that right, has had 10.1. So let's hop back to AdamChoi for a minute, and then we'll wrap it up. All right, so here we are on AdamChoi. What you want to do is tap this little hamburger icon, and then where it says corners, you want to click detailed. The same thing you want to do for bookings. You want to come to bookings and then detailed. It's kind of the same interface. But what it does here is it gives you, so you can pick different stats that you want to see for a team. So if you want to merge, and in this case, I haven't split home and away, I've put all the games together, and I want to see, Arsenal's record of getting, over 9.5 total corners. And what I can see is that when they play at home, that happens 70% of the time. So, they're playing Man United, and I would try and scroll down here, and away, it only happens 30% of the time that they get over 9.5 corners. So then I would, go into SofaScore, FlashScore, and then just analyze, individual games, the last head-to-head, the last 3, and look and say, how many corners on average. And then I would use that average to try and calculate. So the reason I'm showing you this is it gives you a guide. You can see visually, in their last games, how many corners. And when highlights in green, it shows you that, this was the number of times that they went over the stipulated corners. So you can go, you can do, if you want to do total team corners, you can search by that. So over 5.5, how many times has that happened? Over 3.5. And this is really good if you're doing bet builders. You guys might have seen in the group, people have been doing bet builders. So, and they're really winning well. So this is another trick that you can add up your sleeve. And you can do different countries, different leagues. So you can go to Germany, see what happens in Bundesliga. You know, how many times does a team get over 3.5 corners? Bayern Munich happens 100% of the time. Okay, so this just gives you a visual aid to try and see, you know, percentages, how many times something happens. And then what you do with this is you go and try and back it up by looking on SofaScore or FlashScore. With bookings, it's kind of a similar thing. Like I said, you press a hamburger, you come here to where it says cards and bookings, and you click on detail, and you go to all matches, and you try and see booking points. You can do team booking points for, team booking points against, each team booking points, and try and see, you know, how many times that is. So this just gives you a visual overview of what goes on, and then you can kind of see the booking points that each team has gotten and do your totals. This is AdamChoi, a total lazy way to get this done. I will now just try and show you guys how to research your refs. All right, so here we are in SofaScore, and I just want to show you how to research a ref. So what you want to try and do is you select the game that you're looking at, and then you want to come down here to where it says referee name. And you can see the average number of cards that they give, and then it kind of gives you a detail of, you know, how many cards they've given, how many cards per game, and then you can kind of see, you know, you can go game by game if you want and try and see which referee gives out cards, and then you can, you know, get a better understanding. All right, guys, so yeah, we learned about bookings and corners, and so I hope that you guys found this video helpful. I will catch you guys in the next one. Cheers.